Hey and welcome to this week's Inbound Debate. I'm joined by Dan Holtz. No James McFarlane, I'm taking his place today as your host, and we are speaking about Facebook Reader, Facebook's latest product, rumoured to be released pretty soon, that's going to basically be a news aggregator that takes your friend's interest, takes news from around the world, and just basically combines it automatically into a nice digitised newspaper for you. So it sounds lovely, but is it going to work? Dan, do you think this is going to be a successful product?
Well, I think it certainly makes sense. I mean, ultimately, any platform has to evolve if it's going to really sort of hold the interest of its audience. And I think when you look at the way that people interact currently with Facebook, so they visit it particularly via mobile very, very frequently, but very, very briefly. And that's a real problem from an advertising revenue point of view. So it's something that Facebook have to address. And I think when you look at the likes of Twitter and LinkedIn, I think the sort of natural synergy between social and news has already been proven. Facebook is already, in fact, the number one referral source of traffic to news sites. So I think it's a pretty natural step, and I feel pretty optimistic for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've obviously got one goal, which is to make money out of this. Is it going to be a moneymaker? Is this going to earn them cash? I mean, obviously they'll get advertising revenue. Is it going to keep people on the site longer and get more page views going through?
Well, I think you can only judge it by how you imagine yourself to use it, and certainly I can imagine myself using this. As I say, I think the sort of natural relationship between news and social has been sort of proven beyond doubt. I think in terms of where it's going to operate in the news space is quite an interesting one, because obviously, in a sense, the likes of Twitter makes the news as it's happening. That's its USP, whereas this is going to be very much an aggregator. So something quite different, and obviously the algorithm looking at what your friends are looking at, what they're sharing, what their interests are. So it's going to fill quite a different space, and
My doubt with it though, the sticking point for me is that from the rumours that are coming out, this is going to be a separate app to the Facebook app, which it doesn't sound quite yet that, and for privacy reasons, and I'm sure every other concern that they have, they couldn't just kind of force it onto the platform. So if they separate it out, is it going to get used? I think that maybe actually it'll be a bit of a slow journey for Facebook, but we will see. And there's the likes of Flipboard that are already out there. You may not have heard of Flipboard. They've been around for several years, and it's just like a news aggregator that just ties it all together, ties all your interests together, and gives you the latest kind of tech news, current affairs, everything else that you're interested in, and then displays it for you. But not many people have heard of Flipboard, so I think this is probably
I think that is a really important point. It needs to be a very easy thing for existing Facebook users to use. If there's any sort of if you got to download something, if you any kind of complicated steps, then obviously immediately you're putting up a barrier.
Absolutely, and you lose a ton of your audience straight away. So it's called Facebook Reader. Is it going to stay? Is that going to be the name moving forward? Are Facebook going to use something warm and fluffy like Facebook Home for their kind of yet to be successful?
I don't know. I mean, I know it sounds really unimaginative, Facebook Reader, but that's only because we know Google Reader. Your typical Facebook user wouldn't know Google Reader. Your typical Facebook user is my dad now, actually, and he barely knows what Google is, let alone Google Reader. So honestly, I think they'll go for something very descriptive, and if they've called it Reader to date, then it probably will be Reader.
I would disagree. I think off the Facebook Home side, they're going to go for something warm and fluffy. I think it's going to be. I really do think they'll come up with Facebook Storytime or something ridiculous.
I would love that.
I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it? I'll certainly download it. Anyway, my just final conclusion on this is that really I think news is moving into a different direction. I think previously in traditional news it's very much been a witness reports something to a publisher, and the publisher then sends out the content to the audience, whereas now Twitter's publishing content, Facebook users are publishing content. Having something automated that's intelligent and can just aggregate that stuff automatically, just display it to everyone that they need to. I think that's the future of news. I really do think. So whether it'll be a success is yet to be seen.
I think actually just one final point. I think actually you could almost argue Facebook have left it a very long time to introduce this, and I think they've had a very focused strategy. Let's get to 1 billion people first. They've got that audience now. I think it's time to make the shift.
Great stuff. Well, I'm sure it'll be very exciting news to follow. Excuse the pun. And anyway, that was it from us on the Facebook Reader side, and we'll hope to see you next time.